Wayne Brown, how we doing?
Matt Jaderson, doing well.
You-
Nice to be in Cleveland.
Yeah, you've been here in Northeast Ohio for a week now. How does it hold up to Houston?
It's not hot and humid, so I'm loving it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
60s, beautiful. Want
Yeah,
to be outside all day. Yeah.
man. We've had a good string. A little bit of rain, but it's been really good.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Well, it's good to be with you,
Yeah.
and wanted to take some time just to get to know you a bit, and also sort of talk about how we got to this point. And it's really exciting. It's been
Yeah.
fun to just in the short time you've been here, just being able to start dreaming about the future. But I think a lot of people are like, wow, how did this all happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so why don't we go back a little bit and tell us a little bit about just sort of your faith story. What was it that led you eventually to ministry?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot there. So I grew up in a really, really strong Christian household. And I was born north of Denver in Fort Collins, and we all went to this church. It was First Baptist of Fort Collins. And when I say we all, it was like my whole family. So
Yeah.
both sets of grandparents, aunts, uncles on both sides, cousins, everybody. It was a whole family affair, and that's what I remember.
Yeah.
We were just part of it. And then my dad, he's a controls engineer, and there's just lots of opportunity in oil and gas in Houston. So when I was 10, Mom and Dad sat us down one night for dinner, and
Yeah.
you could tell something's up, like something heavy's about to drop. Hey, we're going to be moving to Texas. And the only thing I knew about Texas at that point was what I'd seen on like Westerns,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be bad. I'm not a cowboy. I can't ride a horse. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then found out like, oh, no, this is a sprawling metropolitan area. I'll be okay, Well, when we moved to Houston, we found a church, got connected. That church also had a school. And Mom and Dad decided for the first time they were going to put us in Christian school. And there's some good things about that. One of the things I'm super competitive. Well, I think some of that will come out as we talk, But I played a lot of sports, loved that, and always just gravitated to that. So you always had to have Bible class in this Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
And to pass Bible class, in order to be eligible to play sports, you had to recite large chunks of scripture for people, in front of the whole class. And I think it was 7th grade, we did the entire Sermon on the Mount.
Wow.
Just in chunks, So
Can you still do it right here?
Not
Verbatim?
the whole thing, but I can pull some form of it.
That's good.
In New King James. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
But so that you can't undo that work, right? It's still in there, and you do have kind of like a catalog of okay, this is what Paul's talking about here. Here's what Jesus was doing there. So I'm super grateful for that. There was also, it was very fundamental.
Okay.
And when I say that, it was
Texas fundamental.
Texas fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
Don't dance, drink, dip, or chew, or date the girls that do.
Right.
That was, we didn't have prom at my high school because we would not dance. So there's funny stories about what we did at homecoming, but that's for another time. So there was a lot of legalism with that. And there was a lot of, if I had a question about something, it's not met with curiosity. It's not encouraged to go explore that. It was hey, we either we don't ask that question, or you just need to have more faith. And so I kind of just got disillusioned with some things that I'm reading about, hey, here's this example of David dancing in the scriptures,
Yeah.
This is part of it. And the psalmist praise him with the timbrel and dance,
Yep.
but we don't do this. And we consider it a sin to do that. And then I can't ask other questions. I was I don't think this is for me. So by the time I was in 9th grade, I quietly resolved, when I graduate, I'm out, I'm done. And after I quietly made that decision, there was just a series of men who started to show up in my life who were very down to earth, people I respected. One of them in particular was the baseball coach at school.
Nice.
Coach Johnson, I didn't play baseball, but my brother did. And my junior year, my brother we had a car he could drive. So I didn't want mom to pick me up. So I'd stay for baseball practice, finish my homework, and then just go watch practice.
Nice.
And when I'd watch him out on the field with the guys, I just fell in love with the guy. Just had so much respect for him, how he carried himself, how he treated the guys, how he approached the game and loved to compete, wanted to get the best out of himself, out of the team. But also he had this sense, I just had this sense like he loves everything in his life more than I love anything in mine. And I just wanted to know, like, what's his secret? What's the deal? So finally, one day, he dismisses the team for practice. They're all changing, showering. And I was like, I'm just going to go ask him. So I got the courage up and just kind of asked him, hey, what's your secret? What's your deal? I've been watching. There's something different about you. And he told me it was Jesus. And I got so mad. I was just like, dude, I'm asking an honest question. Like, and I told him, I was like, I have never seen Jesus do what you're saying. So I don't believe you. And I'm really grateful he had the wherewithal in the moment to just say, tell you what, like, I'll make you a deal. And he said, why don't you and I get together, and once a week we get together, we talk. What we're going to do in between that time, we're going to both read the Gospel of John. And if we get to the end of the Gospel of John, you don't believe that Jesus is doing in my life what I say is, you can walk away from all this with a clean conscience. And he said, but here's the catch. Like, every time where we see Jesus doing something, or we hear Jesus saying we should go do something, like, we're going to go try to do that. And that's part of what we're going to come together and talk about. So I was like, clean conscience, you're on, buddy. Like, there you go. I'm anticipating questions I'm going to get for why I'm not going to church, and want to be able to just say, this is what I'm doing. So it doesn't take long when you start reading through the Gospel of John intentionally and trying to pay attention to what's Jesus doing and what's he talking about, that you see, man, he just talks to people, and he talks to people he's not supposed to talk to. And I can remember one day sitting in the cafeteria at school, and I was starting quarterback on the football team, starting point guard on the basketball team. I was in good with the athletes. I knew exactly where I was going to sit. I had some status, and I look over and I see another table, and I'm like, I think Jesus would go sit there. It's just the kids that everybody kind of ignores. They get picked on a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, I think Jesus would go sit there. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go over there. And it was so awkward. It was terrible. Yeah. And I think they thought I was coming to play some sort of prank or some sort of joke, because that's par for the course for, if some athlete's going to come over there. Yeah. But I just kept showing up, and then eventually they kind of warmed up to me, and like, I just found I had a sense of there's something coming alive in me. And same thing. Like, I'd find myself walking into a class or walking into a situation just saying, how would Jesus carry himself in this? I think he'd be kinder to that person than I just was, and so, yeah, it was like something was coming alive in me. Yeah. So fast forward, Coach Johnson and I stopped meeting, but I wake up one day and I realize I just kept going. Yeah. I read through Acts. Was deep in the epistles. I think I was in 2 Corinthians one day, and I'm realizing I'm waking up every morning. I'm reading the scriptures on my own. I'm praying and I'm talking to Jesus, and I'm asking him how I should respond to people in situations. And I was like, I think I'm a Christian, and I wasn't trying to get here. Like, how did this happen? And, so that was a big part of it. But then it wasn't long after that, that summer, right before my senior year, I'm starting to plan out, hey, college visits, what am I going to do next year? And I had this aha moment of, man, I was so close. Like, I'm months away from graduating and walking away from all of it. And I remember kind of this dialogue with God of like, God, that's really messed up. Like, I was immersed in this. I'm memorizing the scriptures, I'm taking Bible class. Like, I know all this stuff. Yeah. And I was going to walk away like, God, this is messed up. You should do something. Sure. And I did not hear an audible voice, but I had an immediate response that I could tell this was not for me, but it was just like, hey, actually, maybe you should do something about that. Wow. And so that was the first time I sensed some sort of call to ministry. Interesting. And so fast forward, how long you've been at Ecclesia? 7 years? So I've been in my current role for 7 years. And like myself, I'd been at the same church for 14 years, and we had deep roots in Wichita, Kansas, and family. And if you would ask me, a year ago, could you ever see yourself in Northeast Ohio? I'd be like, what? Like, I couldn't even put it on a map. Yeah. Ohio's never even crossed my brain. Yeah. Outside of
Ohio State winning the big game.
Yeah. Big deal.
I'm not gonna lie, I was cheering for Notre Dame.
Yeah. Okay.
I shouldn't admit that on here, but
Yeah.
I was rooting for the underdog.
Yeah.
But now, fast forward, I'm like, man, the Lord did something in me to bring me here.
Yeah.
Like it had to be like an intervention, like without a question, sensing the Lord's call here. So tell me a little bit about your journey in that and how you went from being at a church that you love,
Yeah.
that you felt called to for a season, and then all of a sudden, like even considering leaving what's a great situation to move across the way, because it's not a short drive.
It's not a short drive. Yeah. So it's quite a journey. So I actually first landed at Ecclesia in 2008. So that community's felt like our community for 17 years. We had a hiatus where my wife's from Mississippi, and when our oldest was born, we went to go move back so we could be closer to her family, and that was great for a season. But then we came back in 2018, and they would call me every 6 months and be like, "Hey, I got another job. Like, you want to come back?" You know? So it just never worked. And so it's felt like home in so many ways. But we had quite a season. 2023, beginning of 2023, I have kind of a health scare. And then a few months after that, Emily is pregnant with our third child, Shepherd, and she gets just a cough that won't go away. And the doctors are being super cautious. They're running all the tests, which we're super grateful for. It ended up being something simple. She just needed a different antibiotic.
Sure.
Took care of that. But in the course of wanting to be careful, they ordered some x-rays and they found a spot on her lung. And they weren't super worried about it. They just said, "Hey, after the baby's born, come back. We need to find out what this is." So Shepherd's born in July. He's healthy. Everything's, on track. Everything's looking good. And we go back about a month later, and then we start the journey and discover that's actually a cancerous tumor in her lung.
Oh, man.
So it was kind of a best case scenario. We're in Houston. It's where MD Anderson is. Like, there's lots of contacts, we got great care. A best case scenario in terms of the kind of cancer it was not your typical tumor. The only course, it doesn't respond to radiation. So it's like you either operate or just ignore it. And they were like, "You're young enough, you should operate because you don't want this to turn and start to spread." So it's like, okay. So November that year, she goes back in, has surgery. Well, like all the signs say she's in remission. There's no signs of cancer. Like, we're super grateful for that. I feel like had she not been pregnant with him, like, who knows what story I'd be telling now, right?
Sure.
But we get a little bit past that, and I think both of us were kind of sensing. You walk through something like that, you start to ask different questions. You start to have a new lease on life. You have a greater sense of your own mortality, and a sense of like, man, our time on this planet is precious.
Yeah.
And so we started asking some different questions. I was starting to sense that I had some gifts and some things that I felt like God was stirring up in me that were just on the sidelines at Ecclesia, and not in a bad way, but just like, man, I think I need to look for opportunities to use this more. And then I started to bring that to Emily. I was a little nervous about how she was going to take that, and she said, "I've been thinking, like, I'm ready for a change too." Like,
wow.
And we've always in our married life lived close to family, and it was the first time I ever heard her say, I actually would say, "Let's go live somewhere we've never lived before, and let's go see a part of the world that we've never seen. Let's go experience something new." And at first I was like, who are you? Like, where's Emily? What have you done with her?
Sure.
But man, the more we kept following that and exploring that, it was just, we kind of kept getting confirmations along the way of like, hey, it's time for something new.
Yeah.
And similar, Ohio was not on the map for us. It was not on the list of like, oh, we don't want to go there. It just wasn't on the radar. And what I was sensing from God is this desire to do a little bit more preaching, a little bit more teaching, to have a little bit more of a chance to lead the team in some really broad ways. Yeah. And so I thought, hey, that's going to be a senior pastor role or maybe a church plant. So I got into a church planting cohort, was really praying through that. And then was actively just looking for, is there a church out there that might fit? And I remember seeing the link on Slingshot for Bay Pres,
Mm-hmm.
and I read through the profile, and I mean, I had kind of like a filter of like, if there's certain red flags, like I'm not interested, you know? I was like, man, this checks actually a lot of boxes. There's no
Yeah.
red flags. There's a lot of things happening here. I don't know anything about Cleveland. But like I honestly clicked on the link because I thought, I've never interviewed for a senior pastor position before.
Sure.
I should get some practice. Like,
Yeah.
and I just thought it's probably not going to work out,
Yeah.
but like I'll at least get some chops. And man, that first conversation with the pastor search committee,
Yeah.
I remembered walking out of that and telling Emily, like, man, there's something happening here.
Sure.
There's something about that church, and there's something about these relationships that are going to be important down the road. I don't know what, but it's something. And then, you know, all the conversations from there, every time I just kept saying that. And I don't remember if it was a second interview or a third interview, but I remember walking out of that one and I told Emily, I was like, man, this might be the one.
Yep.
And then I got a call later and they said, oh no, we're going to hire a different senior pastor. And I was like, okay, that's not the one, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but then I got another call back and it was like, hey, we'd like to talk about hiring you too.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like that sounds weird. And there sounds like a lot of hurdles to go through, but
Sure.
it's like, I was just like, hey, the sense of these relationships are important.
Yep. There's something there.
There's something there.
Brewing.
Yeah. And I didn't know what it was. It was like, yeah, I don't have enough to say no. Let's just keep saying yes. Like,
Yep.
and so, yeah, that actually then
Led to and that was
Yeah.
part of it for me is, you know, in my mind, I kind of run this through my grid of support, my coach and some of my friends of like, hey, I haven't even like officially accepted the job, and they've sort of floated this other opportunity of another candidate who might be a great fit to work with me. And I'm like, is that too soon? Like, I feel like, you know, I probably should learn what I need in the role. And then one conversation with Pastor Rick, who was the transitional pastor, and saying, no, you need to not wait. Like, you need to bring in someone so that you're not doing this thing as solo pastor. And the more conversations, I said, okay, I'll take a Zoom call. We'll see how it goes. Low expectations. And I just felt like, oh, after an hour conversation, you and I not only, I feel like hit it off, but like, I could see this working like in like a really high octane way, because you and I have really similar gifts, but also very different personalities. I think you're a little more extroverted, outgoing, and have this sort of people magnetism, whereas I'm a more introverted relator type personality. And I just got to thinking like, I have to at least explore this more, because it feels like here's this person who was just, you know, I just had a Zoom call with, but like the committee couldn't shake what they saw as a potential of us working together. And it wasn't like it was Matt and it was Wayne. It was like, no, I could see this as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think that was, for me at least, that was confirmed when you came and visited, even when you weren't even sure if this was the right thing.
Yeah.
But you came and took the visit to come see, because it's like, we just got to try. We got to see.
Yeah.
And it felt like we just had great chemistry.
Man, yeah.
So one thing led to another. Have you sensed since then, like since even just on that weekend, like there are moments along the way where you're like, yeah, this is right?
Yeah. And there's a bit of a story to that too. And, you know, I'll say even just getting on the Zoom call, I was apprehensive too of like, what's this going to be? And putting myself in your shoes, I thought,
Sure.
What an awkward place for you to be in.
Sure.
You know? And I'm honestly just kind of seeing how are you going to respond to this?
Yep.
And I was so impressed with how you carried yourself in that.
Oh, good. Appreciate that.
You were very sure of yourself, but also not just like tied up in your own ego, like, but just like, hey, curious, and just, hey, let's just see where this goes. And then absolutely we hit it off, and I was like, that's a guy I could trust, and that's a guy I could work with. So yeah, I was like, let's do this. So absolutely there have been like moments of confirmation along the way. And there's a story actually. So this summer with our staff at Ecclesia, I led an initiative to take our team through a Bible study series. And really it's an experience. And every week when you're in the experience for 10 weeks, someone's telling their story
Gotcha.
of how they came to faith. And it's beautiful. I mean, we've got a pretty tenured team. We haven't seen a whole lot of turnover, although that's changed recently. There's just like it's time. Like there's a lot of folks, it was time for them to move on. But what I heard again and again is, man, I've worked with you for 7, 8, 9 years, and I never knew that about your story. And I never knew that about your journey. And so it was powerful. But there was one guy in particular, he's telling his story. And he tells the most wild thing. He's saying, I was at this church one day, and I'm at the door, and I'm greeting people. And this couple, young couple, walks by. Husband and wife, they're still in kind of a newlywed phase. And he says, I hear the Spirit of God tell me very clearly, like, tragedy is about to strike that couple. Like, by the end of this week, by Saturday, tragedy is going to strike this couple. And he's just like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Sure.
You know, like, I don't. So he didn't go tell them, and I thought that was appropriate. Like, don't go tell them that, you know. But he said, sure enough, like that Saturday morning, he gets a phone call.
Oh, wow.
And like, tragedy had struck that couple, and it was exactly what that voice had told him. And he just said at first, like, all I could do was start praying for like the husband in particular, because he was now left reeling with like the results. And then not long after that, kind of an angry, like why would you even tell me this? Like, what is going on? And what he said was, it was a confirmation of like, I did that so you know that you know my voice. And when he said that, like everyone in the room, like I had like a visceral response, because it shook some things and it unlocked some things in me. And it definitely gave me a sense of, oh yeah, like you have been sensing my prompting, my leading, my guiding in a direction. It's not what you thought it was when you started, but like every time you just said yes, like just keep following that voice. So that was huge. And there was another moment actually about 5 years ago where I'd had honestly kind of a similar something. I was at church one day, somebody walked by me, and I heard inside like that person is struggling with alcoholism.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing, like their eyes aren't dilated. There's nothing in their life is saying they're struggling with that. You can't smell it. There's none of it. And similar, I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? So I mean, like I tried to just like, hey, how's it going? Are you doing okay? Like, you know, those kinds of questions. And sure enough, 6 months later, I find out like they checked into rehab to go do that. And honestly, I've carried guilt around for about 5 years that I didn't say something, that I didn't do more.
Sure.
And when he said, like, you know my voice, it was both like that sense of, hey, I've been sensing God's leading in this, and also like, hey, no, like that moment was not for you to do something. It was for you to know you hear my voice.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, those confirmations have been there all along the way. It's going to be a risk. It's a jump. It always is. But I'm very confident.
Love that.
Yeah. So
one of the cool things that I'm excited about to work together is, you know, we just took our staff through Strength Finders, and one of the things that the search committee did was they took my 5 top strengths and your top 5 and put them together to show me why they saw the potential. And interestingly, I'm on the staff currently at BPC, is we have so many gifts, but we're lacking in influencing gifts, which is the orange gifts. And you and I are actually some of the only staff members that have influencing gifts. I have maximizer, and then down my list, I have self-assurance, and I think I want to say activator, or I forget which one, but you have 3 in your top 5, which is unique.
Yeah.
Share your top 5 real quick.
Yeah, so maximizer's number 1.
Yep.
Achiever, which means I'm very driven to like get to the finish line, to finish and whatever result.
Marathon runner, by the way.
I run marathons, so maximizer, achiever. Competition, which is like I'm super competitive. Everything is a chance to see what I'm capable of. I will wash the dishes faster than you. Is really like what it is. You know, like it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Like I'm going to try to win. And then I have a theme called self-assurance, which just means I trust inherently my instincts.
Yeah.
I have a lot of confidence that in what I'm capable of, and I also am aware of what I'm not capable of, and I won't try to do it. So, you know, my wife will say things like stubborn, and that's that's a part of that, you know, for sure. But yeah, it's just kind of this inner confidence. And then the last one's futuristic. So that's a strategic thinking theme. I live in the future.
Yeah.
Always dreaming about what's next, what's possible, what can we do, what mountain can we climb, what challenge can we overcome. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and with that, I think what the things that popped out to me was I'm also a maximizer. It's my number 2.
Yeah.
And I feel like maximizers are good together because we're kind of functioning with the same like internal locus of control of like wanting to just maximize the potential.
Yes.
And not just in ourselves, but in others around us, and the projects we're doing. And one of the things I'm really passionate about too is bringing a culture of feedback into Bay Press staff, of like really genuinely wanting feedback, not just to be critical of others, but so that all of us could say, okay, how can we make this better?
Yeah.
And I think you and I can be able to do that in a way that's non-threatening, because that's the whole piece, right? You don't want it to feel like you're constantly being critical, but you want it to be like, no. A healthy culture says your feedback is for my good.
Yes.
And I think with both of us modeling that, that could go a really long way. And I think I also thought about like your futuristic gift combined with my ideation gift, which is like really exciting, because futuristic is thinking future, ideation is like putting legs into actual ideas in the future, which I feel like can be dangerous at the same time. It's like we might be thinking outside the box in ways that might be a little bit like, whoa, what are they? That's not how you do church.
Yeah.
But I do think it could be a really cool thing going forward.
Oh man, and you have strategic as well, which I like paired with something like futuristic, because I can see the future. I don't necessarily know how to get there.
Right.
I'm just going to start plotting a course and like trust that eventually I'll find a way.
Yeah.
But you can then actually like, no, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, like, and even have the flexibility to adjust as things go. So
for sure, yeah.
And I've seen that come out even in just some of the like, you know, the 10 priorities that you sent me. Is like, oh yeah, this is really well thought out. This is very strategic.
Yeah. I have relator, maximizer. I'm gonna get the order wrong, but adaptability is 1, 2.
Yeah.
Strategic, and then ideation.
Yeah.
And so I think that I feel like the adaptability strength this kind of softens me a lot, because I'm not super rigid. I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah.
But there is that part of me that is always thinking strategically. So I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be really fun to explore this with the staff, and even just from leadership team, to be able to start dreaming. Because I really sense, and this is something I've sensed even more acutely since I've been here, that this church is ready to dream again.
Yes.
Like there's been so much transition, and it's been a lot of holding court, if you will.
Yeah.
Which is what you do in transition, you know?
Yeah.
That's natural, that's normal. But it's time to stop holding court.
Yeah.
Like it's time to start dreaming and asking hard questions, and really trying to sense where the Lord's leading this church.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to do that together.
Me too. It makes me think of like Peter in Acts when he's quoting from Joel.
Yeah.
Just kind of that idea of like, your young men will have visions, your old men will dream dreams, you know, like, it's time. Yeah. And I hear that as like, hey, that's inclusive. That's men and women. So it's not just like, it's like everyone. Let's dream. Let's have some vision.
That's powerful,
and
man.
receive that as a gift from God, as evidence the Spirit is stirring and moving and doing something in our midst. So
that's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. This has been great,
and
I'm excited to see what the Lord has for your family. And tell us a little bit. You know, by the time people watch this, it'll be mid-September. Tell us a little bit about your timeline, so people kind of know what's coming.
Yeah. So we're eyeing a start date for me of October 15th. So we'll have told our community September 14th. So like when this airs, it's public knowledge. You know, no big deal there. But yeah, looking to wrap things up and finish well. There's a few teams and stuff I want to kind of put in place before I head out, and then just have lots of conversations where I get to tell people thank you and what they mean to me and all of that. And so we got a house to sell, and like a big cross country move.
Sure.
So we've done it before, but it wasn't this far. So it's definitely on a little bit different scale. I'd love to for the house to sell and us to be able to get the kids and everybody up here, ideally before snow starts to fall.
Yeah.
Like I'd love for them to get to experience the changing of the leaves in the
Yeah.
fall and just
Here the falls are the ticket.
Yeah, I can't. And already I'm like, man, just like
Yeah.
there's 2 seasons in Houston. It's hot and hotter. Like
Yeah.
so, like
Sounds brutal.
to get out of that, even in the summer, to be able to be outside. You know, they're all giving me a hard time of like, yeah, call us in January. So like,
I want to just circle back. I think that one of the things you said is really important. Like, as someone who's gone through this transition, my coach told me, he's like, most people do one of the 2 well, leaving and arriving. And he says to leave well and to arrive well takes real intentionality.
Yeah.
And so I commend you on just thinking through that, because so many people don't leave well.
Yeah.
And once your mind kind of goes to the next thing, it's hard to be present where you're at. And so I just encourage you in that. Like, you're going to look back and your time at Ecclesia and in Houston, and you're going to look back with great fondness, because you were intentional about like, hey, this is a community we love. We're not running away from the police, leaving town and jumping ship. Like, no, this is like a great community that you've invested in. And it's always going to be a part of you. And I think that's really great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm excited. I feel like there's so many things that community has done to shape me that I'm excited to get to share with others too.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
This has been good. More conversations to come.
I'm excited. Yeah.
All right.